add-in. So if I wanted to install an add-in, I go to Insert and then Get Add-ins. And if you want to do this yourselves, you need to search for an add-in called Script Lab. So it's Script Space Lab. Otherwise it won't find it if you don't put the space in, and then you can add this add-in. Now I've already done that. I get an additional tab here called Script Lab, and if I open this, one of the tabs which is called Code, I hope this doesn't take too long to load up. And I get some codes. I get a code editor here. So what's actually happening here is I've got an Office add-in that is an editing tool that is itself an Office add-in, and I can go and look at. There's a bit of sample code here. I can run it as well. So there's another panel here. So this second panel is actually the add-in running. And if I show that working, if I select a few cells here, just waiting for it to start up, and say highlight selected range, you see what it's done is it's executed this code here. And if I change the color, say to blue here, now notice how that second panel got updated. So these are both add-ins. This is just the Script Lab add-in, and this is the actual add-in in the Run panel. This is automatically refreshed, and now if I do it again, it's changed it. And I can look at some sample code here. So let's find a fun sample. It's the wheel of colors. Looks pretty. Looks like so we've got a syntax error in the sample code here, which is a bit sad. Let's see if we can just debug that. Line 75. Looks like we've got an extra brace there. Get rid of that. Now it works. And if I click start the wheel, I think it's building a pie chart, isn't it? It's using the charts capability in Excel. So it's using this library to get at the content of the application. So I can build very powerful things here, and I don't have to go in depth, but I can use this to prototype these add-ins. I wouldn't recommend necessarily using this for your production work, but for that I would say you probably want to go to a tool like start with the Yeoman generator. So let me just clear the screen here. So I'm in a command window, and I can say Yo Office, and it will run this Yeoman generator, which will actually start to give you a dialogue and say, right, this is the Yeoman generator. What type of project do you want to build? Let's say React, and I'll just leave that default. It won't work. And I say I want to build an Excel add-in, and it would then go, well, if it hadn't already created one, it would go off and scaffold out the project, which takes about 2 seconds. Let me do it again because it really doesn't take very long to do that stage. Change of mind, I won't bother, but it takes a few seconds to scaffold out, and then it does a process called npm install, which really does take quite a long time. So that's not really worth sitting watching that happen. I created one already, so I'm going to go into the Excel add-in folder, and I'm going to run Visual Studio Code. So this is code. If you haven't seen it before, it's a nice editor. And the interesting thing is it's actually built using HTML and JavaScript and CSS. So don't let anybody tell you that you can't build sophisticated applications using these tools. That's exactly what Visual Studio Code is using. If you don't believe me, you can toggle the developer tools, and you see those are the actual developer tools from Chrome, because it's using the Chrome engine to build this using Atom V8, I think the JavaScript engine's called. So that's Visual Studio Code, and looking at this add-in. So I can go down to here, and now I can use this, and this is a bit more powerful because I can start working on the manifest file. This is the manifest file. You see it's an XML file, which tells it what to do in various situations on different platforms. And inside the code itself, well, it's written in TypeScript, and you can see some various points where you can add some code. So one of the things you could do is prototype something here and then say, well, I'll just take this code here, copy it, and go over to here and insert it. You know, I've sort of already made a start on building something. It's not going to work, but you know, I can make a start on building something by prototyping it and then building it into Visual Studio Code and then building it using the various build tools from here. So, I mean, we could talk on and on about this topic, but I'm going to just lay this aside, having established that we can use that similar set of techniques. We can also do something similar when we look at the page canvas, which is SharePoint, of course. So what we can do there is use the SharePoint framework, which you've probably heard about, which allows us to do web parts, these client-side web parts, in addition to a number of other extensions, which include these application customizers and command sets and field customizers. And again, a lot of people are doing demos of the SharePoint framework.